Hey everybody, it's Karen from Get Savvy. I'm excited that you're here today and joining us for the training Strategic Social, how to maximize your impact on social media. Yes, that's a mouthful, and I apologize in advance if I muffle my words because they do become tongue twisters when we start talking strategies. So, what are we talking about today? We're talking about 3 simple and easy to implement strategies to maximize your impact on social media. As small businesses, we are always looking at how to expand our reach, how to find more customers and clients and leads, and not just any leads, but qualified leads. How do we do that? We do it by making sure what we post and what we share on social media actually has a strategy behind it. This isn't something that we just kind of jump in and just do willy-nilly and post all we want or whatever we want. You have to have some thought and strategy behind it. And so we're going to talk about 3 easy to use and implement strategies that you can do. Okay? So, first strategy is audience-centric content creation. And you're going to start to hear that word centric all over the place. It's kind of like the new buzzword in social media and in marketing. They're talking thought centric. Everything is centric. Well, what does centric mean? It really just means centered or central, right? So when you're thinking about your content that you're creating, it needs to be around your audience. So audience centered, audience centric. You see the connection? So everything you do is about that audience. Who's your audience? The first step behind this first strategy is you absolutely need to know who that audience is. Where are they? Not just who. This is more than their gender or where they live geographically or their income. This is about who they are, how they feel, how they interact on social media, how they show up on social media. So you need to know who your audience is. And if you haven't done an audience or an avatar review in the last 6 to 12 months, you need to. And it's something I recommend all of my clients. You need to do and review your audience at least once a year. That's standard, once a year. And you want to know, because things change. Your audience may not change. Who you're speaking to may not change, but how they're doing changes. Their pain points will change. And that's because there's so many different triggers coming in that you need to make sure you're speaking to what might be triggering them at this point in time. So that's why you want to do that review at least once a year. And if there's been any major change in your audience, meaning, we're going to use the pandemic as an example. It affected everybody. Our audiences changed in a heartbeat. And if you weren't on top of it, then your business all of a sudden was speaking to the wrong avatar, to the wrong audience. Yes, you're still talking to the same general person, but you're not talking to their pain points anymore. So when there's a major shift, and if you're a local community, within your local community, if there's a shift in your industry, right? At the time of this taping, right? The auto workers are on strike. That's a major shift in that industry. So all of a sudden, the people that are associated with that industry, the supply chain, the small businesses that support those workers, their audience has changed because their pain points have changed. So do you see those? That's an example, 2 examples that really kind of show us how, even though it may not directly impact us, it can impact our audience and who we're speaking with, and we need to be aware of that. So knowing who your audience is, where they are, who they are, when they're buying, why they're buying, how they're buying, and how are they showing up. You want to know all that information. So you want to know who they are. So definitely do a review. So that's part of the content. Then how are you delivering the content? What kind of content are you doing? Are you writing blog posts? Are you writing articles? Are you submitting articles to different magazines or online magazines or newspapers? Are you published anywhere? Have you written a book? Do you do videos? Are you showing your content through just normal posts, reels, stories? What does that look like? How are you creating the content? Are you speaking to them in one static motion, or have you broadened how you speak to them? So you want to think about that. That's step number 2. How are you creating that content that you're changing? So then 3 is that consistency. Are you consistently showing up for your audience? Are you providing value? Are you educating them? Are you entertaining them? Are you inspiring them? How you show up to your audience consistently starts to then what? Build their trust in you. Increase engagement with you. You become a place of comfort where they can come to and they know you, they trust you, so they're going to want to buy from you, right? Know, like, and trust. That's part of this audience engagement piece, right? So with that, what happens? All of a sudden, if they're going to interact with you, they become a what? A qualified lead, right? In business terms, sales, every customer starts off as a lead. Cold lead, a hot lead, a warm lead, right? When you build your content around your audience and their pain points, and you speak their language, and you meet them where they are, then guess what? They're apt to become a qualified lead, meaning they are going to buy from you. They're going to partner with you. So that's strategy number 1, audience-centric content creation. Strategy number 2, data-driven decision-making, another tongue twister. And I can already see it. When you hear the word data, whoa, your eyes get glossy. Your mind goes numb. It's like you just ate a big bowl of like super cold ice cream and you get the brain freeze, right? When we start talking data, we start thinking, oh, what to do? I don't know what to do. Data is like so out there. And you'd be right. It can be overwhelming and it can be paralyzing. But when we have an idea, a basic idea, we can start telling ourselves, no, this isn't so scary. I know what I need to be looking at. I know how I'm going to use it. Because remember, this is about a strategy, being strategic with our actions and our efforts. So when we start looking at data, we want to know what? We want to know how many followers we have. We want to know what the reach was from our content. We want to know what our impressions, we want to know what our conversions are. And that language can become kind of scary too. Because what does it all mean? Like, what does reach really mean? What does impressions really mean? We can make assumptions, right? We can use our common sense and, the normal everyday English language to be able to say, okay, well, followers are those that follow us. So those are the ones that are interested in who we are, who our products might be and our services might be. That's our followers. So that's like the big general number that you're going to have, right? I'm going to have this big following. And that's great because they're interested. But you kind of need to put them through the funnel, as they say. So they're interested. So you're going to create a piece of content. And for this example, we're going to say we post just a static piece of content on Instagram or Facebook, your Facebook page. So you post the content to your followers and you sign into your dashboard, right? Your professional dashboard on Meta or on X or TikTok, and you go, oh, my reach was 100. What does that mean? What does reach mean? Well, reach is your unique viewers. So let's just say, for the sake of easy math, that you have 5,000 followers. And that piece of content had a reach of 100. So that means out of those 5,000 interested people in your products or services, 100 individuals, unique individuals, saw that piece of content you just posted. So your reach was 100 people of those 5,000 followers. Awesome. Okay, great. So that's good. So that's a metric that we can kind of wrap our heads around, right? So 100 people saw this. And then all of a sudden you look a little bit further and you say, impressions, 1,000 impressions. That doesn't make sense. Only 100 people saw it out of the 5,000 followers. How do I have 1,000 impressions? Well, impressions are your visibility. So let's say we take those 100 people, those unique people that your content reached, and we bring them into the room with us right now. And out of those 100 people, you had 1,000 impressions. The math looks a little like this. These 100 people, between them, saw it 1,000 times. That means one person might have seen it once, another person might have seen it 10, another person might have seen it 15. But in totality, those 100 people saw your content 1,000 times. So your visibility to those 100 people was 1,000. So 1,000 impressions. They showed it 1,000 times to those 100 people. So great. Okay, so then what's next? Well, then comes engagement. And out of those 100 people, you had an engagement of 50. You're going, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. Okay, so let's take a look. So the engagement means 50 people engaged with that piece of content. So your thousands, 5,000 followers, 100 people were reached, 1,000 times it was shown to these 100 people, and 50 engaged. That means they liked, they loved, they reacted, they commented, they shared it. Somehow they interacted, they engaged with your content that you posted. And that engagement still might not be 50 individual people out of those 100. It might be one person liked it. That same person commented. That same person then shared it. 3 engagements for one person. So your engagement is the involvement. How involved was that 100 reach audience through that 1,000 impression visibility? That's your engagement. Okay, great. So I had 50 engagements. Great. Now what? Now you want to know the conversions. And the conversions is who joined you out of those 100 people that came into the room with us that had the 1,000 impressions, that had 50 engagements. How many of those 100 joined you up here on stage? Partnered with you, bought from you? We're going to use the number 10. So your conversion rate was 10 out of 100 was 10%. So your conversion rate of your 5,000 followers, where we brought the 100 people into the room that had those unique views, right? To the 1,000 impressions. So then they interacted, 50 times we said? 10 of them decided to partner with you or buy from you. So that's the data you're beginning to look at when you say data-driven decision-making. You want to know what content had the most reach. Because remember, that's the unique views. So what content had the most reach? What one had the least amount? And so a little bit of homework that you might want to do when you start looking at this, and it's an easy way to kind of dive into data and understanding and gaining clarity and allowing yourself to become immersed in this, is go through your content. Pick whatever platform that you know your audience is showing up on consistently. Whatever that platform may be, you're going to go to that dashboard again, you're going to see the insights, and you're going to say, find the top 5 performing content. What are they? You want to look at them. You want to say, these are the top 5 posts that I did. And we'll use Facebook as an example on our page. So on the page, these are the top 5 posts that had the top reaches. What's similar about them? Was it the imagery? Was it the coloring? Was it the caption? What was it? What was so similar about these that you can say there is a theme behind the high reaching content? What is that? And when you have that identified, you want to try and find at least 3 things that are similar between your top reaching content. The next is you want to find the 5 lowest reaching content. And sometimes that'll be 0. So you might find 5 that have 0 reach, which that's fine. It doesn't matter what the number really is. You just want to get the 5 lowest. And you want to do the same analysis, what you did with the top performing. You want to know, is there a theme between them? Was there similar imagery? Was there similar coloring? Was there the same emojis? I don't know. Find at least 3 things that are similar about the least performing content. So now you have information about what works best and what doesn't work very well for your audience. And you want to see where the difference is. You want to be able to say, oh, they really liked this particular color, this particular theme of imagery, and this hook line at the top. These words, like those are the 3 things. They did not like this. They did not like that. You want to know what the difference is. Because then now you have data, you want to duplicate and replicate the same content that worked really well for your audience. So your data gives you information that you can make decisions that speak to your audience. And when you know what the difference is and you know what works, that information allows you to adapt and adopt and be flexible, responsive, so you can continuously be meeting your audience where they are. Remember, audience-centric, that first strategy. This second strategy supports what you create in the first strategy. Okay, so that's your data-driven decision-making. You really want to dive into that dashboard of and insights on your social media platforms, whatever they are. Each one of them has a professional dashboard, so you want to dive into that. That's your second strategy. The third strategy is consistently engage and build community. Well, what does that really mean? Isn't that what we're already kind of doing? And you'd be right, but this is more, let's say, precise, more thoughtful and more intentional. So consistently means every day, regularly, whatever you define consistent as, this is what your consistency is going to be. Engagement. Well, we define engagement in the second strategy, right? That interaction. So you want to use your time blocking skills. Remember in the other training videos we talk about how to time block and how to do time management and prioritization. You want to make sure whatever your consistent pattern is, that you create a time slot that you are focused on intentionally engaging in content. It doesn't have to be your content. It can be groups. It can be however that looks, right? Regular content in a profile or different pages, but you want to pick a number. So for me, I use 10. Every morning, I start the day with trying to engage in 10 different posts, not my own, somebody else's, where I can offer value, I can offer insight, I can offer support, where I'm responding to somebody's question and I'm interacting with them. And I'm asking them open-ended questions. And my goal is to create conversation. Remember, building community. I want an open-ended question. I don't want them to answer yes or no, or that it's so closed that there is no opportunity for them to respond or engage back, right? You want to have more than a like button or a heart button. You want them to type something. So that's your goal. And you can pick 5, you can pick 2. It doesn't matter what that looks like. Pick a number, be consistent, and engage with your audience. Meet them where they're at. This also gives you insight into who they are, because you can start to see them in their own habitat, as they say, right? So engaging with them. The other half of the engagement, I use it at the end of the day. So at the end of my day, I go back on and I look at myself and say, Karen, where did you post this morning? Okay, let's look at those comments. Did anybody actually respond to my comment or my engagement? Oh, they did. I am going to respond. I am going to like, love, whatever response I'm going to give, and then I'm going to actually reply to them. I'm going to engage again. I'm going to acknowledge their response, and I am going to again give them an open-ended question. Why? Because my goal is conversation. I want to build relationships. I want to build trust. I want them to know I can be a source that they can come to, that I have a solution for their pain. And I'm going to do that by engaging with them where they're at. Okay? So at the end of the day, I'm going to answer those. And from the content I posted, remember I created a piece of content this morning and I posted it, and I know it got 100 reaches, right? I'm going to go back to that and see, did anybody else comment? Did they reply to my comments? Did they like it? And I am going to engage with them again. So I'm going to kind of sandwich my day. I'm going to start by opening conversations with people, and I'm going to reply and loop back to those that reached out to me from my content. That is your dedicated engagement time frame. You want to do that consistently. Whatever that looks and feels like for you, remember, you get to define consistency and what that schedule is. So you want to do that. That's step one, that dedicated engagement time. The next thing is hosting something. You want to put yourself front and center. You want people to know who you are and what value you bring. So it can be a Q&A session. It can be a poll. You can run a contest. But you want to make sure whatever that is, it's in alignment with who you are and what you are providing to your audience. So in my Facebook group, that Get Savvy Strategies and Solutions for Women-Owned Business, every Tuesday I do a live stream, and it's a training and it's free. And my goal is to provide solutions and strategies for these women-owned businesses that have them but may not have a place to ask questions or find them. And so again, so why am I here on YouTube doing this? For the exact same reason. I want to give you strategies and solutions. I want to provide you value. I want to make sure that you feel empowered, that you're inspired. And so when I go back to that audience-centric strategy, I'm educating you. And maybe I'm entertaining you. Maybe you're laughing at me. I don't know. Doesn't matter. If you want to laugh at me, go right ahead. Doesn't matter. Right? So I'm educating you, and I'm hoping that I'm inspiring you to take action about your audience and learning data and what that means. Right? So host something where you can pass along your knowledge. My personal philosophy is knowledge is not meant to be kept and controlled. Knowledge is meant to be shared. And the more we can share what we know, the more empowered people are. And the more empowered people are, the happier we are, the more productive we are. So this is like a full circle opportunity where I get to share what I know and different topics and etc. And you get to feel empowered because now you have a solution, you have a strategy that you can go and do what you want to do and become better at it, right? That's it. That makes me happy, right? That makes my heart happy. I get to help you, right? Even though I may not know you, and that's okay. So why do we do all this? We foster a sense of community. You're here with me watching this, and you're going, okay, I like her. Maybe I'll come back. Maybe I'm going to subscribe. Maybe I'll come back and see what she's going to post next week. Who knows, right? So you want to foster community because we thrive in community as human beings. The more we empower each other and educate each other and inspire each other, we thrive. We go from merely surviving to thriving, and personally and professionally. So that's the 3 strategies for really making and maximizing your impact on social media. Again, remember, this is about having a strategy, being strategic socially on social media. So 3 strategies we talked about: audience-centric content creation, data-driven decision-making, and engagement consistently and building community. Those are your 3 strategies. strategic social, maximizing your impact on social media. And I'm super happy that you're here. I'm Karen from Get Savvy. I would love it if you joined us over at getbizsavvy.com. We have so many tools and resources available for you, not just coaching, but workbooks and worksheets and audio lessons, you name it, and we're adding all the time to our library. Come check us out, getbizsavvy.com. Thanks for joining us.